Hello, hello. We are live. Getting all set up here. How we doing? How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of the Backstage Music Lessons weekly segment. Excited to get it started. Excited to be the first one to do it and kind of get it started off. Yeah. Rocking my Backstage shirt. Welcome, everybody. I'm Kevin Offitzer, play drums for Stick Figure, founder of Backstage Music Lessons. First off, thanks to Rootfire for doing this, keeping the content flowing despite the lack of live concerts, and for getting the Rootfire TV thing going. I've been watching them, and it's been fun being able to, still interact with the bands, and it's just really great to, have that option as a fan of music, being able to see premieres. I think actually Sang is up next after me, and he's going to be premiering a track. And thanks for everybody tuning in right now. I really appreciate that. Feel free to ask questions. I can see the live chat on the side. Really ask me anything. Great to see you too, homie. The Doors dude. I'm not sure who that is. Jack, you're looking good as well. But yeah, ask questions. I'm going to keep it pretty free flow, open form, whatever. I'm going to talk about a few things that I have jotted down that I want to mention. But yeah, ask me questions about really anything. Stick Figure, Backstage Music Lessons, or what I've been doing during the quarantine, or whatever you want. And I'll try and answer them all. Donations can be made at rootfire.net/TV, which I believe, oh, it's up, Stupid Loco. I believe most people are going to be watching it through that link on Rootfire. So there should be a donate button. I'll be making a donation to Sweet Relief Musicians Fund, who even before this pandemic were doing big things for musicians in need. So I know a lot of musicians need it now more than ever. So that would be greatly appreciated. Where to start? I'm going to kick a little drum beat just because that kind of sounds nice right now. Let me know if it sounds good. What's up, Keith? Let me know if it sounds good and you can hear everything. All right, that felt good. Feels good to have a drum set, actually. I just picked up this Roland kit. It's a TD-17. It's pretty awesome. I've never owned one before, but due to this quarantine, I found myself in need of a drum kit because all my shit's in Oakland, 3,000 miles away. So I picked it up, and I've had it for about a week and a half now. Sadly, I haven't had an option to play drums for a little while. So it feels good to be able to, play the drums in the living room, 20 feet from my bed. I'm trying to see if there's any questions or anything yet. What up, Jay? I see you. Sup, Aunt Donna? Thanks for tuning in. Okay, first question. Let me just answer this from Josh Houston. BML is a phenomenal idea. Have you thought about expanding it outside the genre? Yes, I have. That's a great question to start off with. I started with reggae genre, the reggae rock genre, because those are the people that I know, the bands that I have a personal relationship with. And I wanted to, I've wanted it to start on a more personal level with everybody that I'm working with, promoting their lesson offering, side by side, and being able to, have, like I said, have that more personal relationship as opposed to other online lesson, like networks where they have thousands of possibilities, and there's just no way that the people who run it have that relationship. So I wanted it to be kind of organic. I started out slow with Gary Jackson from the Movement and Zeb from Tribal Seeds, who are both still offering lessons online, by the way. And really, it was just my lessons and those two guys for the first little bit of the whole Backstage Music Lessons being an actual entity. But long story short, yeah, I want to expand out. I've just been taking my time because I want to do it right and bring on like-minded artists. I will have a couple players that I know. I don't want to announce it yet because I'm still working it out, but bass player and drummer who are more in the metal side of music. And I'm excited to get into that because that's really, like, besides reggae rock, that's my roots. I love metal. That's what got me into playing drums and everything. And then producers as well, like DJs and producers. I really want to have some of those guys join the team. And I've been talking to some East Coast guys. They're kind of, I guess they're kind of in like the dubstep, what have you. I don't know there's so many genres of that electronic music. So yeah, definitely gonna do that sooner than later because we're not touring. So I've really been focusing my time every day on Backstage Music Lessons. As much as I'm bummed about not being able to tour, it's kind of been somewhat of a blessing for me, not only to spend more time with the family, but I've had all this time to really work on Backstage Music Lessons and things I probably wouldn't have done by now. I've been able to get done because I'm just treating it as like what I'm doing right now. I also have this kit, so I do get to jam and teach lessons, but yeah. Let's see. Jay. He said, need to tune that snare. What's funny is these kits are insane. There's so much to learn. You actually can literally tune the snare, but I suck at tuning snares. But with this, it's just a matter of just like pressing a button. So I really can't screw that up. I like this question. Do you have a favorite stick figure song to play? One of the songs we don't normally play live, but I wish we did. But we have a couple times maybe. Golden Hour. It's the drum groove is super straightforward. It's just it's nothing fancy by any means, but I just love that song and how it grooves. And I don't know, maybe I'll convince Scott to play it more, when we get back to playing shows. But of the songs that we do play live, I really enjoy playing Fire on the Horizon. There's a lot going on. And definitely World on Fire. That's a good one, just because, the features and whatnot. And there's so many. I mean, shit. I love playing them all. But I would say, yeah, like Fire on the Horizon's probably, that's one of the most fun for me. Okay. Answer a couple more before I go off my notes. JGib04. Doreen O, thanks for the donation, by the way. Jay Gibb, what does Backstage offer if you don't necessarily want lessons? That's a great question as well. We just started offering hangout sessions. So if you're not necessarily wanting to, focus on an instrument, you can do a hangout sesh with pretty much any of the artists. Everybody's pretty much offering them for 30 minutes. You can just talk about whatever you want, pick their brain, hang out, have a beer. Really, it's just like an open book. So, and we just started offering that maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and people have been loving it. It's like a little meet and greet at home. So it's really fun for the artists, and yeah, it's been going well. So I'm actually, at some point, I'm going to kind of list off everybody who is working with Backstage, and let me answer one more question, and then I'm gonna talk about Backstage a little bit. What's up, Darren? Um, my favorite artist outside the genre. Um, Outside of reggae rock, I mean, I like a lot of different types of music, but I just popping in my brain is Pantera. Um, it's as metal as it gets, but I just that's what got me into playing music like every day is just jamming along to those songs and all their side projects that are spin-off. There's one called Super Joint Ritual, and then there's a band called Down, which is like one of my all-time favorites. More of like stoner metal, but I just love the groove and the drum parts. Alice in Chains also. I'm a huge fan of grunge music. Um, so Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. I learned so much about music and song structure from listening to those songs, and drum parts are really intricate and interesting. Um, yeah, I'm actually really enjoying answering these questions. I'm gonna do a few more. Um, Tim Azzy, the drum groove. What type of groove is utilized on the drums in All For You? It's really straightforward, actually. It's just a group of three on the hi hat. At least that's what I do in the live version. It's just, and then it's got a cross stick. But it's really straightforward. But the hi hat is just doing those groups of three. It's not like it's not holding the whole time. To be honest with you, I'm a little rusty on the songs because we haven't been together to rehearse or anything like that in a while. And it's actually, but it's been kind of nice to get a little bit of a break from it, because I feel like when we do get back, be kind of looking at it, hearing it with a new set of ears, new set of eyes. And I always like when we do have a little bit of a break from playing shows and then we come back, because I play drums just slightly different. I'm just thinking about it differently, and it kind of makes it new again in a way. So yeah, that's that. Stormy Lee. I think the world needed this kind of break to get people back to this right here. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you. Yeah, I kind of agree. This whole thing has changed a lot of people's perspectives on a lot of things. I feel for the people that are going through hell with this thing, the ones that are really getting affected. But for everyone else, yeah, I think it's been like a good chance to like kind of take a step back and really, you know, realize what's most important in life, your family, your friends, and trying to, do the things that you want to do in life. It's definitely, yeah, it's wild, this whole thing. Looking forward to it passing though, so we can get back to playing some freaking shows. I miss playing a lot. But obviously right now, there's just too much shit up in the air. If anyone's wondering like when we're going to play shows, it's really like almost not up to us with the management. It's this whole thing. It's when the powers, you know, when they really like the government stuff decides that it's allowed. I've read it a bunch of places. We're the first ones to get affected by this, meaning like the musicians. We were the first ones to get affected, and we're going to be the last ones back at it. At least the live aspect is what I'm talking about. And that's going to hurt, but it's just what we have to do right now. And I'm just trying to stay positive, as I hope everybody is, and optimistic that they're going to figure it out. Everyone do what they got to do, and yeah, just get back to playing some freaking shows. I'll answer all these questions. I definitely want to make sure I answer every single question. Um, and on that note, I kind of want to talk about Backstage Music Lessons a little bit. How is this? Okay, I'm good. Backstage. A little bit about the history of it. I taught my first drum lesson. Actually, one second. I am thirsty as shit. No, I'm not cottonmouth. I'm just talking a lot. I talk a lot during my drum lessons too. So yeah, I taught my first drum lesson in 2013. Stick figure, we were on tour with the Expendables. It was like our first big nationwide tour, so we were just super stoked on it. It was in the winter, so it was kind of gnarly. We were playing like 6 shows a week. We were definitely road dogging it, as they would say. It was a lot of long drives, but it was a good time. But I had decided before the tour that I was like, I might try and teach some drum lessons on this tour, just see how, like, put it out there and see how it goes. And Scott was cool with me like posting it out there and the whole thing. And well, I want to back up a little bit. I got the initial idea to teach drum lessons on the road from my buddy Timmy Luera. He actually plays drums in a band called 96 Bitter Beans, original CKY frontman. That's his new band. When we were younger, I've known him forever. He's one of my best friends and plays drums. He would always hit up drummers when their bands were on tour. I'm trying to think of a few of them, but the one that always stuck out in my mind was he got a lesson from Stanton Moore, who is just one of the most awesome drummers out of like New Orleans area. He plays for Galactic, so he got a lesson from him, and I went to the show. I also went to the show that night, and he was like, his dad went and got the camcorder going, and they like filmed the whole thing, and he got a lesson on stage, which was, it was just like, holy shit, that's so awesome. This was a while ago in like high school or first couple of years of college. And I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, that's really cool that Stanton was into doing that. If I ever find myself in that position, I will definitely, I'll make that happen if I can. Fast forward to 2013, and the rest is history. I've been teaching lessons since then, pretty much every single tour. I don't really, I wish I could do it at every show, but it's kind of difficult at festivals because it's just a cluster. But yeah, that's where it really, like, the super foundations of Backstage began. And then fast forward, a few years into it, and I was brainstorming with our manager, Thomas Cousins, who is just always like, he's a manager because he like thinks about things in that way, that on the business side that I don't. I just, he's got that. That's why I love that we are fortunate enough to work with him. Also, he's doing a live stream tomorrow on Rootfire TV, answering business questions. So we were brainstorming back like on the Slightly Stupid Summer Tour. I can't remember which year. And we kind of, it was an idea he kind of had based off of what I was doing. And long story short, we kind of started forming like the idea of how the whole thing would work. And then a few months later, I started getting the other guys involved, Gary and Zeb. They were on their summer tours, and it went great. It started with them, and slowly since then, who was next? I think like all the boys in Ayaterra, who absolutely just crush it as a band and with the lessons. I love those boys. Bummed that the tour is getting postponed because it's just so fun to be on tour. Actually, well, and with Gary and the movement. But yeah, so Ayaterra, and then I've just been kind of letting it grow organically. Like I said, I don't want to just reach out to as many people as I can to teach. It's been really fun just like having it grow in that way, and it's more manageable for me. And it's just not like too much at once. Um, yeah, let me answer a couple questions, and then I kind of want to get into like talking about the whole artist roster. Brendan, what's up, Brendan? Thanks for tuning in. Do you think you'll start offering industry lessons at some point? Um, well, I mean, you said and possibly merge with some music business club. I mean, for now, I think there's just so much opportunity to reach out directly with the artists. I kind of, my heart wants to stick with that. Um, but music business club, like we're in the family together. We're gonna grow everything, at the same time. Um, so yeah, I mean, we do have like some sound engineers. They haven't taught anything online yet, but I've been kind of wanting to reach out to them and see, they're still just a library full of knowledge, especially like Dave Cardonic, our sound man, stick figure, Jay St. Aubin, who works with us. I mean, the dude puts guitars together pretty much for a living right now. And I mean, you can teach that online too. So yeah, short answer, yes, I do want to break into that. Happy Mom, you collect drumsticks. Well, I'll send you some. Send me a message with your address. And yes, I love Pantera. All right, let me see if there's Anthony. I'm glad that you had fun with Gary at your lesson in St. Pete. That's awesome. Yeah, for anybody watching right now that I haven't reached out to, if you have lessons booked for this summer, um, they definitely will be honored at the rescheduled dates. Reach out to me if you want to figure something else out, switch it to online or refund or whatever. Just let me know. We'll get it right. Mike Spalt, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. In regard to creating drum parts or playing live, have you found marijuana adds to your playing? You know, it can. To be honest with you, I don't really smoke that much before we play. Um, I don't even really drink all that much. I really like to be just just me, when I'm playing. I've I've been that way for a while. I just in a better headspace, I guess, with it. Breck, baby Zoe says, "Hey, what's up, baby Zoe? I haven't met my niece yet. She's across the country." Okay. Jeff, big ups to you too, man. Looking forward to our next lesson. Yeah, we got Ted. Um, what's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in. Ted from Pacifier. On that note, I'm gonna kind of go through the artist roster with Backstage Music Lessons and ask any questions. Just keep them coming. I'm enjoying answering all your questions. I'll just kind of get into it in no particular order. We got Rimo, drums for Slightly Stupid. What can I say about the guy? He's just a powerhouse. He studies a lot. He knows a lot about drums, percussion, Brazilian stuff. He even plays the didgeridoo. He's one of the newest ones to come over to the team. So yeah, everybody's available for sessions, online sessions, and hangout sessions. Ed Beach, who is the drummer for not Ballyhoo, he's the drummer for Real Big Fish. Also an amazing instructor. He stays pretty busy on and off tour, teaching lessons. Gary Jackson, Gary Dredd, he's drummer for The Movement, who is just everybody who's had a lesson with him has had such an amazing time. He's so much fun. I mean, if you met him, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, he's just the man. I love him. Matt Benoit from Hyrie, drummer, also a killer producer himself. If you check him out, Matt Benoit Drums on Instagram, he's always posting. I think he has a record coming out pretty soon, a solo thing he's been working on. He just it amazes me. I'm envious of the drummers who are capable of all that production side. So honestly, if you want to learn production with him, he'd be a great option. Ben Teeters from Satsang, drummer, he's rocking lessons. Tanner, drummer of Ayatero, who, you know, another one that nothing but good things from people who have had lessons with him. Jamie Zeb drums from Tribal Seeds. The guy, I've looked up to him for years. He was one of the first guys that inspired me to want to pursue being like a full-time drummer, and especially in the reggae industry. I was at a Bob Marley fest. I love telling this story. I was at a Bob Marley fest when they used to have him in Long Beach at the Long Beach Arena, and I noticed, I was all stony but having a good time. But I did notice that the band stayed the same the whole show. All the Jamaican artists, all the top ones you could think of. I can't remember any of them right now, but like Richie Spice and Capleton. So the band stayed the same, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like they know all these songs. Like it just, this was in high school, and I was like, "This doesn't make sense to me. These guys are freaking amazing," because it sounds like they're a different band every single song, every different artist. And I looked it up. It was Detour Posse, and that is still one of Zeb's bands that he's always rocking with off tour from Tribal Seeds. So I was just always amazed with him because he knows reggae drums like no other. I mean, the list of artists that Detour Posse's worked with and Zeb's worked with, I mean, he still jams with like Barrington Levy, and they've worked with J-Boog, and the list just is endless. So I really look up to him, and then we became friends when I started playing in more reggae bands over in like Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach. We would always cross paths and play shows, and then he would let me hop on drums when a Detour Posse would do jam rock, because he'd hop on the vocals. So that was just the funnest shit, So to be able to like work with him now and tour with him and everything, it's pretty awesome. So he's about to start teaching some online lessons. So I'm excited about that. Joe Tamino, who has played tons of shows over the years with Modest Yahoo. His project Dub Trio, if you haven't heard of them, definitely check them out. They are hard to explain. It's instrumental mostly. They did also just come out with a new record not too long ago in like November, or within the last 6 months. But it's dub, it's reggae, it's metal. It's like, as a drummer, I love listening to him play because he's just on another level. Highly suggest taking lessons with him because he's just another one of the masters. David Hamilton plays drums for Of Good Nature, which the whole band, they are working with Backstage. Also, he's just a hammer of a drummer too. Bass players, Nick Laporcio, Porch Bass. He plays in Ayatera. He also does a lot of producing himself. Awesome dude. I love him. His lessons, once again, always seem to go really well. Songwriting. I don't know which DAW he uses, but he's been crushing it. John Reed, bass player for Of Good Nature, another just shredder. David from Tropidelic, bass player. He's awesome as well. Bobby Chronic, also from Tropidelic, who is another shredder. We haven't played a show with them in a while too. Look forward to the next time we get to jam with them. Andy Flores, bass player from Hyrie, known him for years. He's the shit. Awesome guy, very talented. K-Bong, obviously, I know K-Bong very well. From Sick Figure, keyboard, him for his solo stuff, touring for his new records and everything. He has a new song that just came out with Mahali. I love it. It's dope. He's teaching, actually one of the first guys I can mention this about. He teaches the songwriting and guitar and keys and the ukulele and production. So his online lessons have been going great. reach out if you're interested in working with him. Ted, as I mentioned when I first started talking about all the artists, just announced him this week. Really stoked to have members of Pacifier. Probably going to have some of the other guys join on too. He, what am I trying to say here? Pacifier, is I hold close to my heart too because they were the first band that Stick Figure did a whole nationwide tour with. So just really cool memories of that, learning from them, sharing the stage with them. It was the Summer Hot Box tour, and it was a really just hot tour. A lot of Pabst Blue Ribbon and a lot of good times. That's actually where we met. Really made a relationship with Johnny Cosmic because he was on the tour as well. And then fast forward, he's in the band, and Stick Figure just wouldn't be the same without the Cosmic. More guitar players. Nathan Feinstein, lead singer and guitar player from Iatera. Another one of the Crushers, amazing guitar player. I love how much he loves metal. We have that in common, and he's able to teach that. He also teaches songwriting, lyric writing, some vocals, music production. I've noticed that a lot of the guys that do the songwriting stuff, they really enjoy teaching that because they can really kind of just put their own spin on it, and it's beneficial for people taking lessons to hear what they have to say about it. Every artist is going to say something different about it, and I'm sure it's just beneficial hearing different points of view on something like that. Blaine Dillinger, guitar player for Hyrie, another shredder, absolute shredder. He's been teaching lessons for years, so it's really fun to team up with him. Raul, another shredder, guitar shredder. All these guys shred. What can I say? From the Expendables, obviously, like I said, that was the first time I ever offered lessons. And I remember Raul actually saying, like, "Oh, that's a really cool idea. I'd like to do that myself someday." So it's really cool having him on. Gonzo from Tribal Seeds, he's doing some sessions. Another guy I've known for years. Kevin Reese from the Reese Brothers. Actually, I just put a video up of him making a little announcement. Aaron Dugan. What can I say about Aaron? His credits are monstrous as well. Yeah, he's played with Modest Yahoo quite a bit, but really happy to have him involved. Nick Safakis from Iatera. He actually, I haven't even announced this yet. He's going to be doing a live stream next week. So I'm kind of kicking it off. This is going to be a weekly thing. Backstage Music Lessons with Rootfire TV every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. He's going to be the first artist after myself. One thing I want to mention about these Backstage Music Lessons little live streams is I kind of want my vision for it, at least. I'll let the artists kind of do whatever they want, but it's to kind of offer not just like a performance, but some Q&A as well as a little bit of instruction, like whatever the artist of the week chooses to talk about, whether it be songwriting or dissecting one of their songs or talking about how they choose chords or showing you something on the drum set, whatever it is, you really, open form, however they want to do it, like I said. But that's kind of the idea with tying it in with, people that are teaching with Backstage Music Lessons. So stoked to dial him in for next week. Really excited to see how that goes. Next up, Coric Watson from Through the Roots, another shredder. You can tell by the way he plays that he definitely enjoys some metal music too. We have Garrett Gleason, who is actually one of the very few people on the BML roster who isn't in the reggae genre. He actually, he's a friend of Hyrie drummer. He was, before the pandemic, he was the guitarist in the pit section for the SpongeBob musical. And if you check him out on the website and find him on Instagram, I got to put the links to everybody's socials on the website. He's an amazing, amazing guitarist. To be in like a Broadway touring show, you have to know your shit. And you can tell by watching his videos that he's just a phenomenal guitar player and songwriter. Another one that I'm happy to have working with us. Next up, Cameron, lead singer of Good Nature. He's been having a lot of fun with his lessons. Paul, keyboard player from Slightly Stupid. The dude's the man. His lessons are crushing it. He's able to teach not only like songwriting and whatnot. He's a member of the Organically Good trio as well, which if you've ever had the pleasure of watching them is just the fucking best. Just reggae grooves, reggae groove jam central. They're amazing. But he also, his organ playing is just amazing to watch too. Matt Goodwin, who plays 1,000 instruments for the movement. I mean, he's the keyboard player, but he also shreds the guitar and the trumpet. And he's also another one of the guys that is an amazing producer himself. Luis, keyboard player from Ayaterra. Same thing about a lot of these guys. It's really amazing. Really just know the production side, the songwriting side. So a lot of his lessons that he's had focus on that. Also a phenomenal keyboard player. Andrew McKee, who big old water jug mug. Andrew McKee. He plays trombone in Hyrie. Another one of the guys that I've known for years, way before either one of us was in a touring band. So it's really cool to have toured with him after the fact. He is a sound engineer, or well, I shouldn't say sound engineer. He's a producer himself as well. I mean, that's what the guy does off the road. So he's another awesome brain to pick if you're trying to learn a little bit about songwriting, song production, what mics to use, what gear, whatever. Crystal Camino plays sax for Hyrie as well. Once again, the dude crushes it at production. He's another great brain to pick some things from. And then Brandon Hux plays horns in Of Good Nature. Sound engineers, like I said, we were starting to add people before the touring had to stop. But working with Dave the Man Cardonic, the sound engineer for Stick Figure, and Ayater's sound engineer as well. Silver. Yeah, they were really starting to have some fun doing the sessions live at the shows. And with the sound engineers, we would have the fans come down, or the students come down pretty early for load-in, so they'd be able to see how the whole process works of like loading in, getting the gear on stage, sound check, EQing. It was a really cool experience that, especially just like the responses were great from the few sessions that we had. Not most people, you come down to the show at doors, the place is packed. It's a concert. It's not just a concert, but that's the experience that you get when you come down early. And this goes for the in-person sessions once they're allowed to happen again. You see a whole nother side of everything. It's a whole different feeling in there in the venues. Going, just loading in and the sound check, going backstage and getting to see that side of things if you've never had that opportunity. Every venue's different, so it's just really fun to offer that, because I really feel like the people who do have lessons before a show, they get that whole experience. Sometimes they get to watch part of sound check or whatever too. They'll meet other members of the band. You're almost guaranteed, if you have a lesson with me or K-Bong, to meet Coco backstage, because she's just always all over the place. And then tie that in after the lesson, go back out, and then you have a show. So it's just like I feel like that's the backstage experience that I had in mind when I started this thing. It's not just about the lesson; it's about the whole thing. And it's just as fun for all the artists to offer the lessons as it is for the people who are experiencing them. Last people I want to mention are actually a couple individuals that I added reached out to who are they don't necessarily tour that much, but they are instructors. And the fact that they can't go to the brick and mortar places where they normally teach, it's just shutting everything down for them. So, and that's another part of Backstage I really want to build during this time, especially, is those kinds of players who aren't necessarily in touring bands or completely outside of the genre. Tom Plum is one of those guys that if you go on the website, there's an online educators image that you can click on. And I just have a few guys there right now, but I really, like I said, want to add to that. I just saw donation. Jeff Hall, you're the man. Thanks for donating. I'll interrupt myself. If you want to donate, it's rootfire.net/TV, and there should be a little donate button. Like I said, I'm donating to Sweet Relief Musicians Fund, awesome organization, doing awesome things for the musicians, especially at this time. So Tom Plum, he's a drummer. I've known him since I used to go to Musicians Institute. That's where I really became the drummer that I am today. And he actually was working there. I think he was going to school there too. But he was like a TA, and the dude, even back then, he was just such an amazing drummer and still is, and he teaches. So that's another one for the drummers out there. Ron Jackson, who actually was one of the first educators in this realm to reach out to me. He is a phenomenal jazz guitar player out of New York. So he's offering some sessions. And Scott Wittenberg, who I actually have taken lessons with when he was also one of the instructors at Musicians Institute. And same thing with him, just amazing drummer, amazing teacher. He has so many years of experience. I highly suggest, even if you're a fan of a reggae band, that's great. Have the lesson with whoever you want, but I highly suggest booking a session with Scott, because he is just a master teacher, clinician, whatever. Yeah. Oh, and then I also teach lessons, play drums and stick figure. I don't know any production shit, but I can talk about, life on tour and some of those aspects of things. I try and be an open book with my students. So yeah, I don't think I left anybody out. I'm pretty sure that's the entire roster right there. And you can visit the website. And I have the whole list up there. Like I said, I'm going to be adding more. We have just announced Howie. I did mention him, Howie Spangler. Or did I skip him? I don't know if I skipped him, but Howie, lead singer of Ballyhoo, he's involved now too. Just announced him today. I will be announcing a couple heavy-hitting Jamaican drummers that are going to join on. Really excited about that. Like I said, a couple guys outside of the genre in the metal world. I'm going to start to get them, and then a couple DJs I've been talking to who are looking to kind of offer that to their fans as well. And what's cool is, if you're a fan of one of the reggae rock bands, and you're just really already a musician or whatever, you want to get into taking some lessons, or you're going to have this massive list, or not too massive, but a pretty decent list of all these amazing artists who are so talented at what they do, and they all have something to offer. So for those who are looking to do more electronic stuff, I'm excited to be offering that here pretty shortly, hopefully within the next couple weeks. I keep everything updated on the Backstage Instagram as much as I can, and the Backstage Music Lessons Facebook page. Pretty simple to find. I'll probably include the link at some point. And the website is just backstagemusiclessons.com. It is a pretty straightforward website. I don't want it to be too fancy. By the way, Backstage Music Lessons is essentially just a one-man show. I built most of the website with some help from the guys at Ineffable. Thank you, Ineffable Music, for that. But I update it myself, and most of the time when people are booking lessons, they're talking to me for all the artists. So like I said, it definitely keeps me busy when we're on tour, and especially right now. Um, so yeah, what I was saying was, I wanted the website to be pretty, just just the info that needs to be there. So you're able to look at the artist, reach out. There's a book, book so and so now button on every artist profile. If you don't feel like looking through it, you just want to get right to me, there's a contact button. Tell me who you want to have a lesson with. If they're not on the roster, I'll do my best to make it happen. I've had a couple requests for some bigger name artists. I've tried, but that's what counts. At least I tried. What else? What else? Actually, that was one thing I wanted to ask. And I'm going to get to some of these questions. I'll scroll back up. But one thing I wanted to ask was, are there any artists in the genre or out of the genre that you would like to see a part of Backstage Music Lessons? And on that note, I want to kind of ask a few, or answer a few questions. Mohawk Enterprises, thank you for donating. I really appreciate it. Mama Foot, thank you for donating. Love you. I'm just scrolling up here real quick. What's the Jack, thank you for asking. Yes, I still have some of the Backstage shirts available. I actually have one of the first batch went really quick. Thanks to any of you watching right now that purchased one. I really appreciate it. Made a donation to Music Cares with that. And then ended up making the second batch. They're a little lighter, but it's the same like heather gray. And same with the donation today, with portions of sales going to Sweet Relief. Pretty nice shirt, super comfortable. I think these ones might fit a little. These ones were like kind of tight, I think some people said. But yeah, just stoked to, yeah, I love this design, by the way. I had named Ryan Scott. He's done some design work for a ton of bands. And he just got the logo exactly how I wanted. If you can see, I wanted it to kind of include a few of the instruments. There's not a microphone there, but if you see, there's a guitar, and then in the drumsticks, there's some keyboard keys, and then some, I'll call them bass guitar strings, just because there's a guitar in there too. So I had that idea, and he just brought it to life in the dopest way. I love it so much, and it's giving a brand look for the whole Backstage thing I'm trying to do. So I'm really excited about that. All right, back to some questions. Shoo. I'm almost there. Thanks everybody for watching, by the way. I really appreciate you tuning in. Favorite stick figure song off Set in Stone from Darren Fitch. That's a tough one. I mean, I love them all. To be honest with you, though, my favorite, it was kind of a different question, but my favorite stick figure album is Burial Ground. Anytime we play some of those songs live, I really enjoy those. Just like the whole vibe of that album to me. If I ever am just listening to that album, especially when I was learning the songs, I would always find myself listening to that Burial Ground start to finish. I miss playing the song Burial Ground, because that one's a super fun one on the drums. Love the groove when you play Time by Pink Floyd. Thank you, Eric Scott. I appreciate that. That's a super fun song to play. When we kick into it, it's just like 4 on the floor, which is kind of like this. It's called like the Steppers beat. I'll actually play it. Why not? So it's just that. Uh, it's yeah. One thing I'll say is I love playing with stick figure because it's different than being in like a metal band where there's a bunch of shit going on. I'm playing, I'm playing for the song. I'm not playing to show off chops with stick figure, and I love that because it's so much more musical. And when I do depart from the beat a little bit, it's just like that much with that much more intent. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a challenge sometimes as a drummer because we have so much shit that we can hit. So it's kind of a challenge to hold back a little bit, and in that in itself is something to learn. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Can you say hi to my mom, Angel Man? Yeah, what's up, mom? This is from the Doors, dude. Your baby is so adorable. She sure is. She's actually a year and a half old tomorrow. I can't wait to see her when I'm done with this. T Cousins, for sure. Uh, you're welcome for the shout out. Can you play? Oh shit. Can you play for us the hardest drum part from a stick song? Trying to think. Um, I'm a little rusty just because we haven't been playing. Even my mind is rusty, but we do. What's one part that I was kind of getting like nervous for leading up to when we played Hawaii song a lot. Let me see if you can move this so you can see what I'm doing. When we played Hawaii song, we kind of, as the live band, wrote in a little like instrumental part, and I haven't played it in a while because we haven't played it in on tour in a while. But I'll kind of just break into that because it's kind of a fun thing. It's not like hard. Well, it is kind of hard, and I do get a little nervous every time it's coming up. So it's just. Something like that. Kind of improvise there a little bit. But it's just like a bunch of hits. It's fun shit. And I do get a little nervous doing those because I can't mess up because it'll mess the guys up. Um, oh, actually, that made me think. Um, there's a part of the set where we do this. We do this. It's another breakdown like that. And I know this isn't part of a stick song, but it kind of is in the live setting. After Shelter, it took us so long to learn this because it's a different measure length for every bar, if that makes sense. We're covering a little part of a Fish song for all you Fish heads out there. They're an insane jam band. I'm kind of trying to remember how it goes right now. So it goes 1, 2, 3. I think I nailed it. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, it was so hard to learn because it's like a bar of 5, then a bar of 8, and what I'm talking about is like a bar like with like different amounts of beats that that measure has in it. So thanks for that, Thomas. Are you offering Sarah? What's up, Sarah Ferrant? Are you offering virtual lessons? Yes, I am. Especially now that I have this dialed in. I had the freaking internet guy come out a few days ago because we live on a little island in Southern Maryland, and with so many people staying at home, I feel like it's just clogged. So I'm all good there, and I have been doing online lessons as well. So yeah, between that and running Backstage, I've been staying pretty busy, but I'm not complaining. Ease Gary, yeah. My dad said, "Good answer on the pop question." Come on, Dad, give me a break. You were in a band too. You still are. Um. Yep. Zebby, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Just letting him know. He's teaching online lessons as well. If you want to learn from one of the reggae greats, Mike Spall. I agree. Johnny should do some sessions, but the dude is so busy in the studio, 20,000 hours every day. I don't even know if he would have time because I mean the guy was even when we were on tour. I mean the dude doesn't sleep. Well, he does sleep, but he doesn't go to sleep until like 6 in the morning. He's just working on music all the time. But we'll try and make it happen. Um, yeah, like I said, Jack asked if there's shirts still available. I have these guys right here. Just got them in. I've only sent out maybe 15 or 20 so far. They're available on the website, backstagemusiclessons.com. And actually, I kind of wanted to do a giveaway today. So anybody who's donated, be awesome way to get some people. So like, I really want to make this a nice donation to Sweet Relief. I will go through the live chat comments after and pick at random somebody and send them a shirt. Speak of the devil, Justin Gibson, thanks for the donation, man. Can we get a drum break? Yeah, let me answer a few more questions. That was from Jay Gibb. I will play a little just drum groove. Greg, thank you for donating. John, I agree. Of good nature is the shit. I think that's what you meant. You got a big enough cup. I mean, this is a wedding gift from my mother-in-law. I think it says Offitzer Tavern. I chug water, so I drink as many of these as I can in a day, and then other times it's filled with beer. What age did I start playing drums? From Appy Mom. Thanks for all the questions and comments from you, by the way. I really appreciate it. I started playing drums. Actually, I started getting into music. My dad is a musician. He plays bass. He has his whole life. Moved out from New Jersey to California to be in a band. So he got me playing, he got me doing piano lessons when I was, how old was I? 4 or 5, which I'm very grateful for because, and I tell all my students this, it's so important to even like if you're just focusing on drums, it's so important to know music on a little bit deeper level, in my opinion. So learning piano taught me music theory. It taught me how to read. It taught me the note values. And those are things that, yes, you will learn playing drums if you go down that road, but you can also just learn by ear and kind of, shy away from that. So I'm really, really fortunate that I had that first. And I mean, I don't play as much as I should the piano, but I've had that with me through all of my years of studying and, bettering my skills as a drummer. My dad always told me, like, don't just be a drummer, be a musician. So that's one of those things that's kind of stuck with me. And I've always thought about, in all my years of learning and being on tour, and even while I'm playing a show, it's just something to keep in the back of my mind. But I started playing drums when I started piano at 4, probably like when I was 9. I think I got a drum kit for Christmas. And another fun fact, I actually kind of quit playing drums. At least that's how I remember it. When I was like 11 or 12, I just wasn't getting any better. And I was just like, screw this. I don't really want to do this anymore. And I was playing a little bit more guitar or just like playing Little League Baseball. I don't know what the hell. But I did have this little break. And I remember it lasted for quite a while where I just really didn't touch the drums. But then I came back to them and kind of the rest is history. I never stopped. And I've been playing for shit like 20 something years now, I think. Kind of crazy to think about. John Wallace, thanks for your donation. You can make the donations to rootfire.net/TV. Somebody said Reba hits. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the Fish song Reba, the last hits that I just did. I did answer the logo. It was, yeah, Ryan Scott. Check him out on Instagram. His work is insane. his lettering. I mean, you can see it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is all done like by hand, and then he like vectors it into the computer. I don't really know anything about that shit. Anthony, thank you for the donation. Bill, what's up, Bill? Thanks for tuning in, man. Do you see a time where the electronic drums would be better on stage than a full kit? Um, I don't know about that. I do, especially after owning one, even for such a short time. I've played them before, but I really do like them. But I, I'm, I don't know, I'm an old soul or whatever you want to call it. I love the sound of wooden drums and the different tones that different types of wood makes. But during the stick figure shows, we do utilize a lot of electronic elements. I have one of the Roland SPDSX pads, so we're hitting a lot of samples and little like synthesizer kind of like swirly, whatever you want to call it, a bunch of different noises during the show to give it more of that like album sound and vibe, you know. So yes and no. We are already utilizing it, and just before this whole pandemic started, we were going to even bring in more. Hopefully, when we do get back to playing shows, I wanted to add some like of these Roland V drum pads to really capture more of that stick figure sound that everybody really loves. You know, the samples that Scott designs that he's developed over the years, I should say. I mean, just you can hear the experience and the skill in like the drum sounds, and that's like one of his favorite parts to create. So we want to kind of bring that into the live show. Like they make triggers, and it's pretty amazing like how advanced all that stuff is. So long story short, yeah, I love wooden drums, but you know, got to stay with the times. Anderson Pack, yeah, okay, dude. Christine, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Um, what advice do you have for a reggae drummer? This is from Disciples TV. Thanks for the question. I toured with bands and played festivals like Electric Forest and Lightning in a Bottle. That's freaking awesome. Those are we've never done Lightning in a Bottle, but Electric Forest is one of my favorite festivals. I mean, the eclectic lineup and everything. It's just it's they do it right. And then Electric Forest, which is in Michigan, it's like sister or whatever you want to call it festival is Halloween, and you know it's like String Cheese Incident, kind of their deal. Um, anyways, what advice do you have for a reggae drummer? Know your shit and know the reggae drum beats, but don't be afraid to um, get outside of that genre to learn some more styles and technique because that's only going to make you play reggae better. I mean, that's really the best advice I can give. I mean, you know, don't pigeonhole yourself. And you know, if you're like looking for a band, you know, it's a little tough right now, but once this thing levels out, um, you know, just put yourself out there as much as you can. Go to shows and whatnot. And yeah, but most importantly, um, know your reggae, but just know your drums in general. Know more styles. Know your rudiments. It's so important. There's no reason to not know them, in my opinion. It just develops your technique and everything. You just learn better. You get better faster. Um, Happy Mom. Who do you think is the greatest drummer of all time you know of? The first person that comes to mind, well, there's like Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa, who were just like they were big. They were more in that big band era of music, like playing up in New York. I think my grandparents actually remember their stories before they passed away that they went and saw those guys play. Those are like the greats that everyone knows about. You know, Buddy Rich, like to this day, like the guy had the fastest hands ever. It's kind of insane. But living, I would say drummers, like drum nerds would know this guy. His name's Vinny Caluta. In my opinion, he's one of the most amazing drummers alive right now. Um, he's played with I want to say like Jeff Beck. He's recorded with a freaking zillion artists, even like Megadeth. He's played on one of their albums. Um, but the guy can do it all. Like he's just absolutely insane. Um, One of my favorite drummers, who's I don't want like Vinny is like the most technically amazing in my opinion, and you know what I'm trying to say here is Josh Freese is he's amazing. How he's different from Vinny is he he is the drummer that I like from when I really got serious about playing drums. He was the guy that I looked up to. Josh Freese, he's recorded on like everything from Avril Lavigne to like Devo, Bad Religion. He's toured with Weezer. He's toured with Nine Inch Nails. Before I became like a full time drummer, what he was doing was I just wanted to do that, and his skill behind the kit and just the way that he carries the band, and especially like what I like most about him, and this is what kind of separates him from Vinny. Vinny's amazing live. Josh Freese is amazing as a studio musician. Um, to be at that level and keep your schedule that busy with the top names in the game, that it takes some serious talent. So yeah, I would say like those are the two my top ones I could think of. Yeah. Um, Ian Young, that's a good one actually. I'm gonna write that down. Ian Young, I have not reached out to him, but I am right. I think Ian Young would be super into this and would be awesome because he's another one of those guys. He's like Scott. He produces, he plays drums. I think drums is really his first instrument. Thanks for that question, John. So yeah, I would love to reach out to him and see what he thinks. Mike Masson, thanks for the donation. Really appreciate that, man. Yeah, the touring, the Doors dude said, can't wait for the tours to start back up again. We all feel the same way. I mean, it feels like a part of our life is missing, among other things, like just going and sitting down in a fucking restaurant. But we're all itching to get back out there. From all the artists that I've talked to, we're just trying to stay optimistic and stay busy with other projects. And I'm sure a lot of people are writing music right now, and we have that to look forward to. I know Scott's been busy with the free flow sessions and a couple of little ditties he sent me. They'll probably end up being on the next album, and they just keep getting better and better. Just like I can hear the progression, so it's really exciting to be a part of that and have some fresh stuff to look forward to for whenever we get back out there. Nora Seiss wants to hear some metal. I don't have a double kick pedal, but I can play a little. I'll play a little punk beat. Actually, No Effects is one of my favorite bands. I didn't mention this yet. No Effects is one of the. They're a punk band. If you've never heard of them, and all I wanted to do was play this this drum pattern that I'm about to play when I first made the switch from piano to drums like full time. And the kick pattern goes. So it's. So, yeah, I still just love the hell out of playing that. I used to play in a lot of punk bands and more of that kind of groups when I was in like high school and stuff. But yeah, I love playing reggae too, so it's all good. What else? Greg, you should do hangouts with Coco. I'll talk to her and I'll see what she says. That's funny. What else? I mean, shit, I've really kind of covered. Wow, it's been an hour. Thanks to everybody who's stuck around and checked it out. I really appreciate that. Just to recap, thanks Rootfire TV for doing this. Rootfire has been killing it in the game with in the reggae industry, content and putting music out for years. So love working with you. This is going to be a weekly thing. It's not going to be my ugly mug anymore. It'll be a different backstage artist every single week. Next week is Nick Safakis, lead guitar player for Ayaterra. We've talked about his session a little bit. I think he's going to he just came out with a new album, Foundation, which is dope. I love it. He might, I don't know what he's really planning on doing, but hopefully, play some of the tracks, acoustic or something like that, and just do it like a Q&A style. But it's gonna be a different artist every week. I'm still kind of curating it and reaching out to people, but every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time, from now until hopefully I get every artist to do it over the next, however many weeks. I'll be adding more artists. Follow us on Instagram. Follow Backstage Music Lessons on Facebook, Instagram. You can follow me. I always kind of like repost shit at K Offitzer Drums on Instagram, and then Kevin Offitzer on Facebook. What else? Like I said, the shirts, I didn't mention this on the website. They're $25 with free shipping if you book a lesson pack. That's actually one thing I didn't talk about is the lessons. A lot of the guys, you can book one lesson, or you can book a lesson pack of 2 or 3 or 4, or really however many you want. If you book a lesson pack of any amount, the shirt is $20 with free shipping. Shit. Is there any? Oh, it's so funny. Can you shout out your social media stuff? There you go. Christian Bonner, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Any last questions before I sign off of here? You can fire them off, like drum related or stick figure related or backstage related, really whatever you want. I apologize I didn't touch these drums as much as I would have liked, or some people would have liked, but I really wanted to kind of introduce this whole thing, and I got a lot to say, I guess. Unless somebody just wants me to kick a beat, I guess I'll just do it. Fuck it. Oh, sorry. Do you know Janet Weiss, female? The name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I'll have to look her up. All right. I got the one request. I'm going to play a little beat for you. These kits are really super fun to play. I never had a reason to get one until recently, but I'm kind of glad that I do have one now. They're super awesome for the online sessions because the speaker isn't getting blasted out, the microphone on the computer's not getting blasted out by live drums. So I'm able to play the same velocity and really kind of show properly how I'm doing, my technique and stuff like that. So I'm stoked to have the rolling kit. Hopefully become an artist one day with them. Shout out to them. A couple more questions. Greg, thank you for the question. Should a beginner take some classes first before scheduling, or is a very, very new instrument? Okay. Some of the most fun lessons for me are the very beginners, they're, just the excitement, and can be sometimes more of a challenge for the artist. And I've heard this from a lot of the guys teaching lessons, to be able to convey some pretty abstract ideas to people of all ages. It doesn't really matter how old if they've never played the instrument before. It's a challenge and it's fun and I really enjoy it. So yeah, there's really yeah, you don't need to take lessons before. If you want, go right ahead, but nothing required. There's no like skill level requirement for backstage music lessons, online or in person. This is a good question. What's a good budget friendly electric drum set? Um, it will, it depends on your budget. Number one, but something that's not going to like break the bank. Um, I know Roland makes a couple. I went with this one because I wanted to get this hi hat that you actually put on a real hi hat stand. It's just got the one rubber like actual cymbal on top, but you're able to close it, open and close it, and it actually acts like a real hi hat, which I need that. You know, I play drums for a living. If I'm going to be practicing with this thing, I want it to be as realistic as possible. But they do make kits that are the next tier down from these kind, where the hi hat is one of these cymbals, and then it's like wireless to a pedal, so it works okay. They work pretty good. I'm not going to bash them, but if you want the most realistic thing, any electronic kit that has the actual hi-hats is crucial. Roland, I mean, I use an SPDS XPad Live. I just love Roland. I know the program well. Like picking this thing up and playing with it was like, I wasn't like confused by it. I kind of know the process already. I know Alesis makes some more affordable equipment. I've never personally used it, but I know a couple drummer friends who swear by it. Yamaha makes some more affordable stuff too. Just shop around. Sweetwater.com is my go-to for the online shopping. They'll price match anything. Shipping's free and it's quick, and they are just they're just great to work with. That's where I actually picked my rolling kit up at. Who's winning that T-shirt? So what I was gonna do is everybody who has donated. Um, Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna end the stream, and then tomorrow I'll announce the winner. I'm just gonna do a random generator of all the, I'll pick a number from a generator or whatever, and I'll pick a winner that way. Jack, you're the man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. Is that a bongo behind me? Yeah, this Congo was actually a gift. I'm brain farting on the gentleman who gave it to me. He actually wraps the drums and everything himself. That's one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten on tour. And I love playing percussion. I suck at it. I'm completely self-taught. I should probably take lessons from like Rimo or something on that because he knows all the hits. What else? How's life in Maryland? It's good. I'm from California, but moving over here, it honestly kind of reminds me of my hometown, just with a lot different weather. It doesn't snow in San Pedro, California, where I'm from, but it's good. I mean, the place I'm living at currently, our backyard looks out onto the water, or as they say, it's the front yard because it's facing the water. I'm actually looking out at it right now. So things aren't that bad. It's been kind of a nice place to be stuck in this position of quarantine. But one thing I'll mention that's funny is like when this thing all started, when I was talking to my other musician friends, like, hey, how's the quarantine going for you? Like, what's it like? We all agreed our life off tour is kind of a quarantine anyways, because we've just been out on the road and different place every day, and we just want to like unwind and be hobbits in our den or whatever you want to call it, just like recluse. So it was kind of funny. It just made me think of that. Yeah, like we all kind of have that experience. So kind of like, I don't know what you're feeling now about this, but welcome to the taste of like a little bit of the life when you're off tour. We're just, just at home, chilling, getting back to the roots of everything that we were away from when we were just out on tour. Jack. Shut up. I'm not answering that one. Tim, when you coming back to California? Well, with the band, hopefully soon. Um, like I said, I can't give you a date on that yet. It's just really up to it's just really up to the powers that have control over that kind of stuff. Um, I can't see it all. What up and coming bands are you into? Um, Sensi Trails in the scene. I'll talk about that bands in the scene. They've been killing it. Um, I'd say Ayaterra. I mean, I guess you can consider them coming up in the scene. I really enjoy their music and the lyrical content and their live show. Trying to think of like somebody outside that I've been listening to. Kind of brain farting on that one. But yeah, I would say yeah, like check out Sensi Trails if you're into reggae rock, a fan of that music, and want to check out a new band. Um, on that note, I think I am going to wrap it up now. It's been really fun um, interacting with you guys. One more question. No, the neighbors don't complain about me playing because I can put on headphones and turn the volume down. That is one of the glorious traits of having an electric kit. But before, the neighbors, they would get pretty fucking pissed sometimes when I was younger. Like I said, thanks for the donations. I'm going to do a little shirt giveaway with that. Thanks, Rootfire, for doing the Rootfire TV thing. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. I know I'm repeating myself, but whatever. BackstageMusicLessons.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. I'm Kevin Offitzer. Follow me on Instagram at KOfficerDrums, Facebook. Stay up to date with Backstage. Like I said, this is my thing right now. This is my full-time thing I'm doing right now, besides catching up with family. So I'm adding people constantly because, people got to work and they want to stay connected with their fans. So keep checking the social media, keep checking the website. Hopefully have some more exciting things, different kind of content coming up. I'm just it's a one-man show, like I said, but I'm just doing as much as I can and building the team, however I can. So yeah, on that note, peace out, you guys, and tune in next week for Nick Safakis. I'll be posting about that too. It should be good, and we're gonna have every week someone's gonna be doing the segment every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, Backstage Music Lessons featuring a new artist. Yeah, big ups, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.